Welcome back to the channel, guys, and now that the whole Batman video is done, now I'm going to move on to the Marvel property, that is the Avengers game. Now, the open beta went live. I obviously did not pre-order this game, so I couldn't play the other beta, the closed beta. But now the open beta has gone live, and after a myriad of issues, I finally was able to play the game in somewhat of a playable state. And this is just what I feel about this game. Now, right off the bat, I would say, I don't feel like this is a bad game as much as it is lazy. The same things I said for the Batman game. By the way, that video I have linked on the top right now. So yeah, the same things that I said about that game are true for this as well. Now that is coming out in 2021. This game is out on September. Now, I will get to all of those issues later, but right now I just want to share my first impressions, like in the beginning of the video. Now, right at the start, I would say when the game started, it was barely working, but I got to play as Thor, and I loved it. Okay, I know it's a very basic combat system. Many people are saying it's very simplistic. You just, you aim with your right mouse and shoot with the left for ranged attacks. And you just press the left mouse for normal attacks, F for heavy attacks. That's about it. There's a dodge button and there's a jump button. That's all you get in the combat. And there are some skills. Now, obviously, the skills didn't factor as much during the beginning of the game. And honestly, I really didn't dabble much into the skills as well. I got 3 skills as the Hulk and also 3 skills as Kamala Khan. So Miss Marvel. I'm just going to call her Miss Marvel because I really don't know how to pronounce her name. Am I supposed to say Kamala Khan? Am I supposed to say Kamala Khan? I don't know because where I come from, we call it Kamala, not Kamala. So now obviously, since it seems like this character has lived outside of our area, so like India, Pakistan, the whole Indian subcontinent, so she might call herself that. So it just feels weird. So I'm just going to call her Miss Marvel from this point on. So yeah, moving on from that. So right as soon as I began playing with Thor, the game was barely working for me, but I loved playing with the Mjolnir. But again, that is where my gripes start with this game. Immediately when I started playing with the Mjolnir and I started hitting the Mjolnir with someone, it just felt like my attacks weren't doing anything. And in Batman, I said that you can have the best kind of an animation system and it would still feel off because the enemies have such big health bars. That was not the case for this game. In this game, I just feel like there's something off with the animations because I know I'm hitting the hammer, but it just doesn't feel like the hammer itself is making contact with the enemy. It just feels like the hammer is moving and the enemy is just staggering somehow. It doesn't feel like my hammer is actually making contact. Maybe it's something they can fix. I mean, this is a beta and the game is coming out on September 7th. They have quite a bit of time, so surely they can fix more of it, but I don't know why it just felt like that. And it's not just with Thor, because from Thor we move on to Iron Man. Iron Man's hits were a bit weird because Iron Man's hits are always disconnected because we are firing lasers essentially. Now they are repulsors, but essentially, for the general audience, they are lasers. So that felt fine because obviously all of Iron Man's attacks are kind of ranged, and you want to play Iron Man as a ranged character. Now that being said, Iron Man also has melee and you can punch someone with your Iron Man suit. It also felt kind of out of place, but it wasn't as bad as what I felt with Thor. As I mentioned Thor, so as soon as we started with Thor, I kind of went through that first wall which I blew up with my heavy attack. Then there was this one moment where there's an enemy standing on top of the bus on this bridge, and I threw my Mjolnir at him and the guy flew off the bus. That was the best moment in this entire beta for me. I've played a significant portion of the beta at this point, and that was the best moment in my opinion. I laughed so much. Unfortunately, I can't put that section of the video because the game was barely working. Maybe the Thor section I can put, but after that the game started stuttering very badly. The patch helped definitely, but yeah, I had to reinstall the game to actually fix a lot of the issues. The game was crashing, the game was stuttering, the cutscenes were going down to 1 FPS, and this is a problem that many people were actually facing. It's not just me alone. So yeah, so that happened. Then we played with Iron Man. Then I think from Iron Man we went to Hulk. Yeah, Hulk. So same problem with Hulk. The hits just don't feel like they have impact. They just don't feel like they have impact. Again, they probably could tweak the animations a bit and fix that, but I don't know how much they will be able to fix, because many times the animations are locked. Like, they are locked into many things, they are baked into many things, they are dependent on frames for some people. Like Bethesda, for example, if you go above 60 FPS, the whole world gets fucked up. So I don't know what's going on with the engine, how they have coded it and stuff. Can they even change the animations to that extent? But yeah, it feels like they can maybe tweak it a bit. So yeah, it just feels a little bit off. From Hulk, we go to Captain America. And Captain America is in the helicarrier, and that's where the stuttering became really worse. I was barely able to play the game. But from what I played of Cap, throwing the shield really felt well, because you throw the shield, it comes back to you, you punch someone with it, you vary up your attacks. Even Captain America I enjoyed playing. Then we had to play with Black Widow, and there the game just gave up. At that point, I barely got through that part. Then of course, after that ends, we go into the beta section, which you might actually see some gameplay of it. We go into the section where it's a forest, and we are playing as Bruce Banner, and we are traveling with Miss Marvel to some location where we are supposed to find Jarvis. Now Jarvis, if you guys for some reason don't know, is the AI that Iron Man uses in literally everything. In the MCU, Jarvis was being used up until Age of Ultron. In Age of Ultron, Jarvis makes the jump and becomes Vision. So then Tony Stark starts using a different AI. But yeah, that is Jarvis. So they were looking for that, and we go into the game, we go into the area, then there is the combat starts. And again, I feel the exact same thing. Now, the combat in this game doesn't have weight. That is my one issue with this combat. The enemy types were varied enough. In fact, I didn't feel like the enemy types were the problem. I feel like we will get to see more enemy types as the game progresses. The enemy types that we did get was good enough, were varied enough. There were some low level enemies that we were shredding, some slightly more difficult enemies that we had to use some different tactics to defeat, mostly just heavy attacks. Then we could throw projectiles as well. Overall, it's not bad in terms of design. I know I already said that I hate the whole RPG stuff. I do that. I don't really like that they shoehorned in the RPG stuff in this game as well. Now, even in this game, the RPG stuff looks out of place. I don't know. It just doesn't fit properly with what is going on the screen. So there is all of that. But overall, it wasn't bad. Many people are saying like this is the worst. Avengers is trash. I don't feel like it is trash. I feel like it's a generic game. It's an average game. I think many people feel like it's trash because they had very high expectations, because they were somehow hoping the games would succeed just as well as the movies did. But guys, lightning doesn't hit twice, right? The Spider-Man games were good. Obviously, I never played it because I don't own a console, don't intend to own one ever. But yeah, all of that. So once we go into the area, into the whole facility, the Stark facility, which AIM now has, now that's a whole bit of lore. I would say just go play the beta, actually decide for yourself as well. Don't just listen to me. If you want to play it, go play. The open beta is still live. I think by the time the video goes up, it might not actually be live by the time this video goes up. Okay, so screw that. Just listen to me then. So as soon as we go into the first area, there should be footage of it playing anyway, so you would understand what I'm talking about. The first problems of the game starts becoming very apparent. Now this is essentially what Call of Duty does as well, is that it just throws enemies on you. You murder the enemies, you go ahead. Now I don't have a problem with the murdering. I'm not one of those people. What I have a problem is with the design itself is it's lackluster. There are different areas. The design of the facility itself is good. the level design is good, but the problem is there's not much going on. There are just enemies spawning in and rushing you and you kill them. The enemies are not strategizing or anything. The AI is serviceable, which is to be expected from these kind of games, because essentially this is a co-op game, because the moment you go online, you start playing with other people, it becomes co-op. So yeah, I don't know, everything about this game just feels stale, just feels repetitive, feels lazy. It's not a bad game, because all of these words that I'm using for this game, I've used these exact same words for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm bringing Assassin's Creed Odyssey into this is because this channel is primarily based on Assassin's Creed and I make a lot of content on it. So yeah, that is why Assassin's Creed comes up in many of my videos. So yeah, but that is the thing. It just doesn't feel like a kind of a revolutionary product. It just feels like, yeah, it's a generic game. You play as Iron Man, it's fun, but I don't know how far the fun will last. And that is the worry I have with this game. They have made it so that, the gear will help you grind through the game. The gear will help you go to the end game and, grind more gear. Essentially, the gear progression is what is going to carry this game, carry the progression of this game. Similar to what Destiny does, essentially. This is Avengers Destiny, essentially. Destiny or Division 2 as well. So the same problem I had with all those games, I have with this as well. Now in this, the problems are further intensified because the gameplay itself is not that polished and not that good. If you consider a game like Destiny, Destiny has its own problems, but gameplay is not one of them. I really enjoyed the gameplay in Destiny. It is repetitive, yes, but there are different kinds of missions going on. Now, I'm not saying these kind of missions can't be done in this game. In fact, if they do these kind of missions in this game, it will help this game very, very much. But so far, I haven't really seen anything of the sort. So now in Destiny, you solve some small puzzles with your teammates. There are some platforming puzzles you need to solve with your teammates. I especially remember one of those missions in Destiny where originally we had to, I can't remember exactly what mission it was, but we had 6 people on my team. Was it 6? Yeah, we needed 6 people on our team. Essentially, I think it was a raid or something. So we each had to jump on one platform. So one guy jumps on a platform, goes to the other, and the second guy has to jump on the first platform. And we fucked it up so many times, and we were laughing the whole time. But that's what, it's not always just about shooting. And that's the problem I had with Division 2. Division 2 doesn't vary up the gameplay much. The shooting is great in Division 2. The AI is actually pretty solid in Division 2. But overall, we are not really doing much differently. And that is the same problem I'm having with this game, which kind of brings me further down with this game. Now, all of that said, can this game become a good one? It can. It absolutely can become a good game if the developers have properly done their jobs and, they have varied up the gameplay a bit. Now, when I was playing as Hulk, there were some sections with environmental puzzles, but I doubt those things are going to make their way into multiplayer. Those are basically just single player things. And just the single player thing, we play as Miss Marvel as well. I like some of the things about that character, especially one of the moves where we punch someone directly into the wall with a huge hand. I like that. It was fun. And the whole time she's just fanboying over the Avengers, or I guess I should say fangirling over the Avengers, which is kind of, you would do that. If Avengers was something that if they existed in our world, if we had superheroes, let's be honest, we would kind of go nuts about them. So that I like. The characters were endearing. And one of the points that I really should have made much earlier, the voice acting is top notch. Absolutely no complaints with the voice acting. The animations themselves, the facial animations, could do with a bit of work. They are not the best, but they are not Odyssey level. They are somewhere in between. They are good. But the voice acting, absolutely top notch. No doubt in my mind about that. I loved the interactions. I think Bruce Banner is being played by Troy Baker. And I'm sorry, I do not remember the name, but I feel like Miss Marvel, the character Miss Marvel, is being played by the voice actress who played Ellie. Sorry, I cannot remember your name. Really sorry about that. I doubt these people are ever going to watch my video, but just make the apology. Yeah, overall, the voice acting is great, and that is why I feel like this game might have legs, because the voiceovers are great. You just feel really close to the Avengers. It's a dream come true in a way for many people. For me especially, I love superhero stuff. I really like it. So yeah, I just feel like this game should have been handled in a different way. It's not a game for me. It's definitely not a game for me, because I am already very sick and tired of these kind of games which force RPG mechanics on you just because. I hope this game succeeds. I hope this game does something differently, and more importantly, I hope this game runs on my PC. Like eventually down the line, maybe on a sale I might get it. So you might see some gameplay come on at December on the Steam sale when this undoubtedly goes on sale. So yeah, you might see the gameplay then, but I'm definitely not pre-ordering this because the performance on my PC was less than ideal. Obviously I have a pretty crappy PC. But yeah, if this is the kind of game you want, if you just want a game where you just turn off your head and you just smash people with your fists, like the Hulk fists, you might enjoy it. It's a kind of a good time pass game, but don't expect anything revolutionary. Don't even expect anything new in this game. This game is just a generic game that we have seen multiple times, just with Avengers skin on it. That is what I feel after playing this beta. Now obviously this is a beta, this is a small chunk of the game. I might be absolutely wrong about this, but seeing what I have seen in the games in this past few years, I really don't feel like I'm very much off. Exactly how I feel with Batman as well. I don't feel like I am far off with my predictions about that game. So yeah, that is how I feel about this game. It might turn out to be a good game. The voice work is excellent, but it's just not a game for me. Alright, all that said, what do you guys think? Do let me know down in the comments below. Do you guys think I'm way off again? Do you guys feel like this is a game for you? You might get it. Do let me know. I might actually see your gameplay of it. Just show me your gameplay of it. That might interest me into something. Do try Thor if you can, because it was fun. Thor was fun. And yeah, all that said, if you like the video, press the like button, subscribe for more content that is about to come to the channel, and yeah, peace.